You've just spent 10 hours rerolling for Kito-san and ready to grind to make the most amazing umamusume ever. But where the heck do you even start? Get ready to level up your wit trainer, because we'll be going over the basics of sparks, how to farm them, and finally, how to plan and optimize builds. Sparks are traits that umas roll at the end of a career run. These do not directly affect the uma themselves, but rather the umas that inherit their legacy. There are 4 types of sparks: blue, pink, green, and white. Blue sparks are stat sparks. Pink are aptitude. Green are unique skills. And white are miscellaneous sparks, including skill hint and race sparks. Farming these boils down to just get lucky. But as with everything else in umamusume, good planning can maximize your chances. Let's dig into the details. For blue sparks, each run rolls any of the 5 stats with equal probability, regardless of the amount of stat you have in each. However, reaching certain thresholds of stats increases the odds of rolling more stars. Most notably, you require at least 600 of a stat to be eligible for a 3-star spark, having a base rate of 5%. This increases to 10% when hitting 1100. These are hard thresholds, with the values not scaling in between. As such, trying to get 600 in multiple stats over a career run to maximize the chance of hitting any 3-star spark is a common strategy, pushing some to 1100 if possible for the increased odds. Pink sparks are rolled at complete random for any aptitude an uma has an A or higher in. This means that if you're target rolling a specific aptitude spark, such as a long distance spark, it would help to pick a character with fewer total A-rank aptitudes to increase the odds of getting your target spark. Note that this is post-inheritance, so if certain aptitudes are boosted to A during the run, they'll be added to the pool. Green sparks give hints for a mini version of your uma's unique skill. These can be generated if the uma is 3-star or higher. The chance for the spark to be 3-star goes up based on the level of the unique skill in the career. So make sure you hit the appropriate thresholds for fan count and director friendship. Uniques can be either extremely powerful or completely useless for any given uma, so make sure to plan out your inheritance accordingly. Unlike other sparks, which each uma can only have 1 of, you can have any number of white sparks. These are gained randomly from various sources, including the scenario itself, winning G1 races, and learning skills. Putting more investment in skills, such as unlocking the gold version or a Delta Circle version, increases the chance of generating a spark for it. G1 races each have different sparks, with double stat sparks being a desirable generic option. Planning which G1s you want to run is very important, and leads into our next topic of planning and optimization. Let's say you have your sights set on your favorite character, and you want to build them up as strong as possible. Unintuitively, this doesn't start with them or even their parents, but rather their grandparents. Since the target character will be benefiting from both the sparks of their parents and grandparents, you'll want to start at the top and work your way down. That is, that you want to ideally farm a strong base at the grandparent level, and then take advantage of daily borrows when you're satisfied with a spark setup to create a strong parent and eventually your goal Uma. When farming for grandparents, while the sparks that they inherit don't matter as much because they won't be a part of the final build, stats will still help the farming process and skills may be inherited. As an example, let's say you want to focus on getting a parent specifically to boost long-distance aptitude. You'd want to spam runs on your designated grandparent to ideally get a 3-star long spark. And once you do, borrow someone else's Uma that has 3-star long on at least the base Uma, reducing a parent that has 6-star long up to 9-star if you happen to roll long again on that parent. Linked in the description is a site where you can look up Umas with specific sparks to help you target a specific build. Speaking of inheritance, the Umas you build your legacy with are important. Each Uma has different affinity values with other Umas, and you can see the total affinity value when selecting your legacies. Higher affinity values increase the probability of inheriting sparks during inspiration events, so it's important to maximize this. However, the shape shown here is a bit misleading. There are not hard breakpoints for how affinity works. There is an invisible value for the actual affinity metric, and it has linear scaling for its effectiveness. That is, a high triangle and a low circle would have nearly the same value. To view how much affinity Umas have with your target Uma, GameTora's affinity calculator is a useful tool to plan it out. In addition to your base affinity, you can gain additional points of affinity by running the same races between your parents and grandparents. More specifically, running the same graded race on both your parent and grandparent generates an additional point. Later on, this will be changed to only include G1 races, with 3 points per matching race. It's important to sync the G1 races that you want to run between all your parents, especially seeing that G1 race sparks are a very valuable stat addition to your build. Amazing! You've increased your wit by 20 points. You now understand all the main concepts behind getting started with farming. And now get out there and make the most Uma-stoppable Uma like ever.